Oh, relax, relax, relax. Keep it up, relax. Step.
Hello. So this video is only about jiujutsu, Nogi jiujutsu. I went to the gym. I didn't know that I was going to attend my first class. I was just going there to register, but then I was offered a free private class for the basics. So yeah, I took it. So I did boxing while I was in college, and I did taekwondo while I was a kid, and I thought that I have a pretty good understanding of stand-up martial arts. But then Muay Thai is kind of like mixing it all up, so I decided to do Muay Thai for like around 5 months, and I'm still continuing with my Muay Thai training, and it has been an amazing journey, a great journey. But recently I did some sparring, right? And this guy had his background in wrestling, and it was like an MMA sparring. Realized no matter how good I am in stand-up martial arts, I wasn't able to win. And then I did some research, and yeah, I watch UFC, and also like most of the UFC champions have a background in some kind of ground martial arts. And maybe I'm wrong about this, but the understanding I came to is like it's very difficult to win if you only know stand-up fighting, because most fights will end up on the ground anyways. Fighting on the ground is like a completely bizarre concept to most people. You don't know what you're doing. So if somebody knows how to fight on the ground, they're probably gonna win that fight, because like I said, I saw a lot of fights between like blue belts against people who have been doing Muay Thai for even like maybe 7 years, and the blue belts won. What I have seen is a lot of people who do like Nogi or wrestling or Sambo or whatever, they will train on how to avoid getting hits. But a lot of boxers and Muay Thai fighters will not train as to what happens if you're on the ground. Of course, you can argue that in boxing and Muay Thai there is not anything that happens on the ground, but I'm just talking in sense of a complete fighter. So whenever there is like a crossover fight, people who know how to fight on the ground will usually take advantage of this and win. So I decided to learn jiu-jitsu. Now going forward, why did I choose Nogi? Might not be very accurate in what I'm about to say, but this is what I got after asking some questions and doing some research. Gi is a lot more slow paced. A lot of techniques depend on gi, and a lot of it is based on the fact that the other person is wearing a gi. But if you go into MMA fights or just normal fights, rather than a slow-paced gi fighting, you would be more in an advantage if you know more fast-paced, explosive fighting, which comes with Nogi. From what my trainers told me, Nogi includes more aspects of wrestling, and it also has quite a bit of judo, and then of course jiu-jitsu in it. And it's the part about the wrestling that caught my attention the most. So when I picture myself either like fighting MMA or even having some maybe accidental fight outside, Nogi will give me more advantage because my end goal is to learn MMA. That's why. So I'm doing Nogi now with more focus on takedowns. Yeah, this video is just more about my introduction to Nogi Jiu-Jitsu.
And until the head for the arm right? Okay. Now I have a basic stage is like that. I will make you move to this way, but then you have to make a post to this side. Okay, just make a sleep palm. I try to sleep here. Okay. Okay, easy, right? Okay, where my feet?
Over here, basically this was my first class, so I'm being taught just the absolute basics over here. The coach is telling me when I'm on the side, when I'm trying to take side control, if somebody tries to get out of it, I can just put my hand forward, make a post, and basically block their movement.
Follow my belly. Follow my belly. Okay. When I post. When I sit straight. This one is side control. So
now in the second position is when I'm on top. So over here what he's trying to tell me is that when you're on the top position, you want to keep your feet right below the hip of the person. Not exactly below, but you can see my foot position, right? It's beside and below the hip. because if you don't do that, they will be able to wiggle their way out through that way, and they will be able to move their feet to throw you off. But if you put your feet right there, then you'll block their movement and it won't be easy for them to escape from that position.
So you run a side front, a guard position, and top position, side front to mount position, right? Last one is a back position. Back position, look out the back.
Now back position, which I think is one of the nicest and the cleanest positions you can get
Feel
into, but
from
also very
the
difficult.
thigh like this. So one arm on your shoulder, one arm under your armpit. So this one must be outside. So if this one tall, you try to take off this arm, this hand. Take off this. Okay, now I can.
Yeah, okay. So I can use this guy, right? So he has tiny little arms, but basically it's how he... I think I did the wrong demonstration, so the editor use it from here. So basically what he's saying is the one that is coming from the bottom should be on top, and then the one that is coming from the top should be over here, because if it's like this and you move this arm, I can still continue with the choke right here. But if instead of gripping like this, I'm gripping like that, you move this one, how am I gonna move this arm? Because this one is coming from underneath your armpit, so there is no way to choke. This thing is really small, so I can choke it pretty much every way. That's why I made the mistake.
I cannot choke, right? But if this hand talk, you try to choke. Okay, I can choke. Just like this hand must be under. Shoulder one must be under. Armpit one must be top. Like this one. Like this. Okay. My chest on your back. If you try to move, I just follow. Don't need to resist. Just like that. Hold like that. Chest on your back. Just follow. Very easy, right?
I like how he's explaining me things and then just saying it's very simple. Although I was so confused, you know.
Try to move the back position. Like this one. Okay, like if I try to take off or relax. If I take off, you can choke, right? But if this one tall, I can take off, you cannot choke, right? That's why this one is tall.
Okay, now he's telling me when you're doing the back position, which a lot of us intuitively will do, is try to cross our feet in front of our opponent so that they cannot escape. This is actually very bad.
Okay. Okay, never try if you put feet like this, I can check your ankle like this. That's why your feet must be on here. That's on my back. If I move, just follow. Very easy, right? Yes. Okay, this more time from your knee on the mat, both knee on the mat. Get this motion with side control. Okay, head, armpit. Okay, knee close to my armpit and knee. Okay, I will try to the bridge to you, make it post. Okay, easy, right? If I try to hit this K, your knee follow. Nice, easy, right? For mount position.
So over here he's reminding me the positions we learned. So the things we learned maybe even before this, and some of them will come forward in the video, were like side control, guard position, mount position, and stuff like that. Yeah. Now he's telling me like back position is really good because even if somebody tries to escape or move or whatever, you don't need to resist them. You can just follow with them, and it's very easy basically, as you can see. He's just following my movements. So he's telling me like the most advantageous position you can be in is in the back position, and then he's telling me like the guard might be second, but this one we had a discussion afterwards. He says guard is advantageous, but only if it's jiu-jitsu, because I told him I don't think guard might be that advantageous if you're using like if it's MMA or something, because yeah, people, they don't care if you pull guard. They're just gonna start punching and kicking you, you know, go into ground and pound or something, and guards are passed very quickly in UFC. So yeah, but this is purely jiu-jitsu, so there are no punches or kicks coming your way in guard. So side control is better than guard, mount is better than side control, and back position is better than mount position. Now he's teaching me like the most basics of every breach, which is basically hip up and then you move out, hip up and hip out basically. This movement might look simple, but if you have no experience in jiu-jitsu, it takes a while to master it. I had to do it like maybe 50 or 60 times, up and down, again and again. And then now over here he's teaching me how to use the legs to reach the position if the other person was trying to get side control, and now get back into the guard position.
Powerful walk to this side, right? That's why you try to carry this gate, this one, hook one.
So basically he's now telling me they parry and side step you, how you can just stop them right there and then come back inside the guard position. The guard position is basically when you're on the floor but facing your opponent and your feet are on their what is it called? It's called pelvis, or maybe I'm wrong. It's on the sides.
Your both hand on his back, okay, like this.
Stop their movement, move out, use the top leg to make a hook, and then rotate, and now you're back in the guard position. Although from my sparring sessions I found out, at least this was my experience, this one is not that easy to do, because a lot of the time when people parry my guard, they are not walking onto the side. It's also possible that I'm just too slow, but mostly what people were doing was were parrying my guard and then literally just jumping on top of me. Anyways, so there was nothing to block. Later he shows me how to block the hands, which was much more effective and useful, because that's what most people were actually doing. And then we did this something called like butterfly spin. So basically, if somebody does manages to go on top of you, how you can stop their legs, make a hook, and then rotate and come back in guard. This actually I have used a few times now. This is the technique. Like, this has proven to be quite effective during sparring, because this is what a lot of people are actually doing to me. But I had to adapt it a little bit, because once somebody like pushes your legs down, they don't just stay there. They're usually jumping, and the minute you catch their hand like this, they just move away and then they jump again. So it's a bit difficult to breach like this, but it is effective. His movements are so smooth, you know. It's like they're flowing, whereas us is like you know, a video that's breaking apart or something.
The last one on the carry and pressure, they learn to have a blood pressure, elbow raise, and head raise, and
So this was a little bit of a sparring with coach. He was going like really easy on me and just joking around basically. Then I did the sparring with this other guy who also has been attending jiu-jitsu only for 2 weeks. It was my first class, but his like maybe 5th class, so not that different. I started to add some of my own things as well, like to kick the ankle, the knee and stuff like that, which I learned from Muay Thai. Just, you know, trying some of my own stuff, which makes maybe a bit more intuitive. So I just finished my first Nogi BJJ class, and it's a really great place. I would recommend it if you want to do BJJ. The coach here is really nice. He pays a lot of extra attention to his students. I didn't get to record an entry video for this because I was just coming here to pay and register, not try anything, but I guess the energy is contagious. So yeah, enjoy the BJJ clip and see you guys next time then. Oh, he's saying is, well, I cannot use this. Okay, this is too small. I cannot bring it because the arms are so small. It's difficult. Okay.